to UBC News Tonight with me, Sharon Kyomugisha, joined by Elizabeth on sign language. Today, on the 5th of November 2025, we'll take a look at our headlines. Today, on the 5th of November 2024, President Yoweri Museveni recognized for improving health and lab services. National Coffee Amendment Bill 2024 back opposition members of parliament to defend CDA on this bill. Security organs called on to step up security along Mpondwe border as PLE exams start. And in our sports, cricket cranes face off Singapore in open games. Thank you so much for tuning in to UBC News Tonight at 8 p.m. today on the 5th of November 2024. Now, President Yoweri Museveni has been recognized by the African Society for Laboratory Medicines as one of Africa's luminaries and a champion for improving health laboratory services on the continent. The award acknowledges the President's bold vision, strong Pan-Africanism, and commitment to the Global Agenda 2030, highlighting his outstanding leadership and dedication to improving health, particularly in Uganda and across Africa. The Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Twine, received the award on behalf of the President at the ongoing ASLM Special Convention on Diagnostics in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. Dr. Twine was accompanied by the Director General of Health Services, Henry Mwewesa, and the Commissioner for Laboratory Services, Dr. Susan Nabada, among other dignitaries.
Thank the leadership of the ASLM for recognizing our humble efforts towards achieving the goal of quality laboratory services for all. This will not only increase our pandemic preparedness, but also create jobs and incomes for our people and save foreign currency in the form of imports. Uganda remains committed to increasing access to affordable and quality laboratory services in order to ensure early detection of diseases and management of outbreaks. This is in line with our vision of strengthening local capacities and manufacturing to increase the independence of the African countries. Besides our deliberate effort to strengthen the laboratory sector, we have implemented several interventions to promote a healthy population. We started with the immunization against the 6 killer diseases. We then added increased access to safe water to get rid of diseases such as cholera. We have now expanded our immunization beyond the 6 killer diseases to the non-communicable diseases like HPV for cervical cancer. This is in addition to our relentless war against HIV/AIDS. In all these efforts, we are leveraging improved technologies for our laboratory sector to increase access to testing as an early point for intervention and treatment of communicable and non-communicable diseases. Uganda has now built capacity to not only deliver routine health services, but also manage disease outbreaks. We are ready to share our success story with our African brothers and sisters on the African continent. Our Ministry of Health, through the Specialized Laboratory Department, the National Health Laboratories and Diagnostic Services, is supporting several continental programs aimed at health system strengthening. Our supranational TB reference laboratory has been supporting all countries in the upper sub-Saharan Africa. We are also currently hosting the Global Fund East, Central and Southern Africa Health Community International Laboratory System Strengthening Project. Through this project, the Ministry of Health has been capacity building for laboratory sectors of 23 countries, sharing our infrastructure and skills in calibration, PT panel production, and creating more health laboratory centers of excellence on the continent. Uganda will continue to support our sister countries with training facilities, human resources, and coordination needed to effectively implement continental initiatives like the current Global Fund, ECSAHS International Laboratory Systems Strengthening Project. Finally, I once again thank you for recognizing Uganda's health sector in improving laboratory services in Africa. I salute the African Center for Disease Control, ASLM, all our partners in the health sector, the leadership of the Ministries of Health, and all the health workers across Africa for working tirelessly toward the goal of a healthy and productive population.
Vice President Museveni, who was recognized by the African Society for Laboratory Medicine as one of Africa's luminaries and a champion for improving health laboratory services on the continent. In more stories, all leaders across the Bukedde sub-region have been invited to attend the presidential stakeholders engagement scheduled for Saturday this week in Butaleja district. According to the Director, Communications at the NRM Secretariat, Emmanuel Dombo, the 3 days wealth creation tour to the region will commence on Friday, November 8th, 2024. Robert Onyango reports.
And he will be sharing with the leaders what he has observed, what he has witnessed, and what he feels can be done better by the leaders in order to improve the quality of life of the people we represent.
On Friday, 8th November 2024, President Museveni is expected to kick off the nationwide wealth creation tours from Bukedde sub-region.
The President is also interested in provoking leaders to become good examples in their areas so that they can propagate the message about productivity and production by themselves becoming good examples in the areas where they come from.
Tentatively, he will convene a leaders and stakeholders meeting in Butaleja on Saturday 9th.
All the leaders from the entire Bukedde sub-region, they will converge in Butaleja in order to share some quality time with the President of Uganda and National Chairman of NRM to discuss wealth creation interventions of government.
The farm visits in Kibuku and Budaka districts are part of the President's tour to Bukedde.
To look at the model farmers and selected projects to demonstrate the success story of the interventions that have been done. The areas where the President will not reach, but already the advanced team of the President has been there and interacted with the farmers and the success stories which have been recorded, and they will be broadcast at an appropriate time in the media houses.
The 3 days visit will end on Sunday with the President addressing a public rally in Palisa district.
The people come in big numbers. One, to welcome the President of Uganda, because it has been a while since he was in some of these areas. But finally, they will listen to him. It is a tour on wealth creation.
Bukedde community remains optimistic about the presidential wealth creation visit of the region.
We are also going to talk about enterprise selection. Given the challenges that we have, what would be the appropriate enterprises that can transform the livelihood of the people of Bukedde sub-region?
This time round, the attention will focus on the success stories and challenges of key government-led programs, with PDM topping the list. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
I see here is land fragmentation.
The opposition in Parliament has maintained its position on the National Coffee Amendment Bill 2024. Led by the Leader of Opposition, Joel Senyonyi, members of Parliament continue to demand that the Uganda Coffee Development Authority (UCDA) maintains its current status. Parliament will resume on Wednesday to deliberate on the third reading of the National Coffee Amendment Bill 2024, which seeks to mainstream the functions of the UCDA into the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries.
Parliament will resume to process the third reading of the National Coffee Amendment Bill 2024, which seeks to mainstream the functions of the Uganda Coffee Development Authority into the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. The media has been filled with mixed reactions over the controversial bill, which has been deemed toxic by some sections of the public. Following the last debate, various groups, including MPs from the NRM party in the Western region, have openly opposed the amendment to rationalize UCDA into the Ministry of Agriculture. The Leader of Opposition, Joel Senyonyi, held a joint meeting in which they resolved that UCDA should remain independent and not be affected by the rationalization policy.
But as of now, we are convinced that UCDA has got a lot more potential regarding coffee in comparison to the ministry, which has increasingly become a lame duck. So we are vouching for UCDA because of its strategic nature.
MPs have warned the executive against interfering with the operations of Parliament.
Hope is that our colleagues, especially from the NRM, will listen a lot more to the people they represent, as opposed to the instructions coming from Cabinet. Cabinet is meant to bring proposals here in Parliament. We can choose to give them a green light, or we can choose to throw them out.
Legally, procedurally, and be it that we are equally fit. If there is anything illegal that attempts to detract us from execution of our duties as members of Parliament, we are fit, we shall confront any intruder. We won't be intimidated. These are people's rights. People are saying let coffee and UCDA remain. We shall defend it to our last breath.
While most of the opposition to the bill comes from opposition MPs, the Leader of Opposition stresses that the issue of coffee should not be seen as partisan. The MPs argue that the government's intention of rationalization loses credibility as more districts and positions are being created.
Rationalize. But now you're creating several positions. And then they introduce assistant RDCs and that kind of thing. What exactly are they going to do? Yet they are going to be earning a salary and to be facilitated. And this is the same government saying they are interested in cutting down on costs and expenditures. That's not true.
The controversy stems from concerns that economic empowerment of Ugandans and their voice should be defended, as the MPs claim.
So we shall be here tomorrow to defend the economic empowerment of the people of Uganda. And you see, the good thing is we know the rules, we know the law. And so we shall use it.
And we want to urge all Ugandans out there, and especially my people of Kampala, to also raise their voices tomorrow.
They had remained with that economic activity that was earning them something to put in their pockets, to look after their families. It is also now being taken away. So
However, NRM caucus spokesperson Alex Brandon Chintu remains optimistic that the bill will be passed into law.
Constituting a whole house, and then we shall have to say, well, this law is good, this is nice, blah, blah, blah. So what do I expect? I expect that the bill will be enacted into a law.
I'm Nafka Farid and Gloria Gwetabenji at Parliament.
Thank you so much, Nafka Farid and Gloria Gwetabenji. Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Chris Bariomunsi, has reiterated that the National Coffee Amendment Bill 2024 is intended to promote the coffee sector. This was during an update on cabinet decisions, which also included the alignment of the A-level curriculum and the O-level, the upcoming World AIDS Day, and other matters. Details follow.
Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Chris Bariomunsi, has reassured Ugandans that the rationalization of UCDA will not negatively affect the coffee subsector despite existing public concerns.
It is the view that UCDA should be rationalized and the assurance we want to give Ugandans that contrary to the barrage of falsehoods and propaganda that has been meted out into the public, rationalizing UCDA does not in any way negatively affect the coffee subsector. Parliament shall be sitting tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the morning to consider a number of bills, and I've seen the order paper, the bills to do with rationalization. And of course, the rationalization of UCDA is among the bills that will be tackled by Parliament.
Cabinet also discussed the alignment of the advanced secondary level curriculum with the ordinary level curriculum.
Now, the curriculum for A-level has not yet been changed. And actually, since the introduction of the new curriculum for O-level, I think the first cohort of students are sitting their exams this year. And the new curriculum is a major shift from the way most of you were taught, where the teaching is class-based, teacher-based, examination-based, and there has been a change in focus where you assess the learner progressively through the 4 years of O-level, and also the method of instruction is more to do with the practicals and the experience.
The upcoming COP29 in Azerbaijan and World AIDS Day were also discussed, with this year's World AIDS Day to be celebrated in Buyende district. I am Marion Awori and Joel Vubia for UBC.
The Executive Director of the Uganda National Examinations Board, Dan Odongo, has expressed readiness for this year's primary leaving examinations, noting that by the close of business on Tuesday, 5th November 2024, all districts across the country had received the examination materials. Odongo also provided an update on the preparedness for the Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education exams, which are scheduled for Monday, 11th November, affirming that all is well. However, UNEB has strongly warned the general public against breaching examination laws, and we have details in the report.
Yes, we are ready for the PLE examination. As I speak now, the distribution process is ongoing. Some districts have already received their examinations. Others will be receiving in the course of today, and we expect by the end of today all districts will have received the boxes containing the examinations. Candidates were briefed across the country yesterday, so we expect tomorrow the examinations to kick off at 9 o'clock across the country. USCE, we are also doing the final bits. The printing and packing in progress. We are ready to start delivering the examinations, the papers for the first week. This coming weekend, we will have a briefing of scouts over the weekend. On Friday and Saturday, we expect candidates to be briefed across the country on Friday. And then on Monday 11th, we expect USCE also to kick off. We have a lot of people masquerading as people who have exams, particularly for the primary leaving examination. Our security has been alert, and over the weekend, the police rounded up 4 teachers in various parts of the country, particularly in Ibanda, I think, and somebody in Chira. We really want to warn these fraudsters to desist from cheating members of the
Moving on, the head teachers of schools neighboring the Democratic Republic of Congo have appealed to security organs to step up security surveillance around schools ahead of the primary leaving examinations, which commences on Wednesday this week. Details in this report.
The Uganda-DRC borderline of Mpondwe is still prone to the Allied Democratic Forces' rebel security threats, despite a joint operation codenamed Shuja of UPDF and FARDC forces. In the wake of last-minute preparations for primary leaving examinations, head teachers of primary schools along the Uganda-DRC borderline have appealed to security organs to step up security surveillance for the safety of candidates and peaceful sitting of their final exams. Charles Mohindo is the head teacher of Mirami Primary School in Karambi Sub-County, Kasese District.
Our PLOE 2024 must be at 100% environment friendly, safety friendly. Our learners need security more than anything. We know what it means by Kasese history. Kasese, we are just always in ups and downs, and this has always affected our performance. It's my appeal that every stakeholder under security should do his part.
In response to this, the Kasese Resident District Commissioner, Lieutenant Joel Walsimbi, assured all schools near the Congo border of total security during their PLOE final examinations that start on Wednesday this week.
I'm happy to report that there is no cause of alarm, first of all. We are well prepared as usual. And I think these early teachers up in the mountains, they should not get worried, those who are bordering DRC. Because they are the one who raised their concern, and I told them that they have been in schools. Have they not seen us on the ground? So this is an assurance to parents, the teachers and the learners that everything is okay. They should not get worried about anything.
He advised the population to remain calm and vigilant. Reverend Julius Ngangasi, the vicar of Mirami Church of Uganda, called upon teachers who are deployed to supervise the PLOE exams to act professionally without engaging in malpractices that can lead to cancellation of exams.
They should stand their position so that issues of malpractice and copying exam should not be seen in this school. Yeah!
The head Kasana Luwero Diocese Youth Department, Father Boni Sentaza, has called upon Our Lady Parents Primary School PLE candidates ready to sit for their final exams to remain focused and avoid situations that disorganize their concentration to achieve their dreams. Father Boni Sentaza made the call during a dedication mass for P7 candidates of Our Lady Parents Primary School in Kasoma Zone, Luwero Town Council. Let's have the highlights of the mass.
Ofuse mama bakusanga oli mwana ositudde mwana munno nga wazala dda ngomaze P7 mwefeeko omukama abakuume abawe omukisa. Wish you success.
A candidate of Our Lady 2024 and expected to get aggregate 4.
So when they get home, we have already prepared their mind that education is not all about writing in books, but the best goal of education is intelligence and character. So as they get to the village, we expect them to exhibit the real values they have been instilling in them here, and we expect them to sit with their parents and help them with the work.
The teenage age of yours, some of you are now teenagers, isn't it? That teenage age is an age of, in fact, I shouldn't call it stupidity. It's an age of confusion. Kubuzibwa. Nyaka jaji, jakubuza, lebo munaba mwewaddeyo mu maaso ga Katonda. Ensi tejja batwa. Enjaga temujja jinywa. Mujja kukola bye tubakola ki bye tubasuubiramu. Twagala muveemu beera ab'omugaso mu ggwanga. Mwe temulaba akulembeze baffe. Eriyo omukulembeze ali awo nti yasanguka. Gyali mwali mulabyeko. Consider what teachers here. Mulaba omusomesa bona nti yasanguka.
There is only one rule you must follow in order to be a winner. Number 1, defeat the undefeatable. You, step forward. I want you to box the air until it falls down. I'm not seeing it falling in. You see it falling in. Box, harder. Winning is hard, but with MTN Momo, it's easy. Simply pay or shop with Momo for a chance to win mobile money every day. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3#.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
Honorable Fred Biamukama, Minister of State for Works and Transport in charge of transport, invites you to the launch of the 4-acre model campaign in the Greater Chibale District's Bunyoro sub-region. The event will take place at Chikwaya Primary School Playground, Kakumiro District on November 15, 2024, starting at 10 a.m. and will be graced by His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni. All residents, civil servants and the leaders from the districts that make up Greater Chibale, Kakumiro, Chibale, Kagadi, Chikube and neighboring areas are encouraged to attend in large numbers. This initiative, led by the President, aims to bring ordinary people into the money economy by showcasing farmers who have succeeded in the 1-acre model, 2-acre model, 3-acre model and 4-acre model. Join local leaders and residents in learning how small land can be used to enhance food security and socio-economic growth. Don't miss this opportunity to witness the transformative impact on local communities.
In the heart of Uganda, a financial revolution is happening. We were once left out, saving the old-fashioned way, with an unexpected saving spot, keeping it too close for comfort. But now, we found a better way to save and manage money. Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. With Wendy, your money is safe and you can earn interest daily. Visit your Google Play or App Store or dial *229# to register. Wendy, Wanawoli.
The Ministry of Health informs the general public that there are some cases of Mpox detected in Uganda. The ministry, working with partners and affected district local governments, are doing their best to contain the situation. The signs and symptoms of Mpox are body rash, fever, general body weakness, headache, sore throat, nasal congestion or cough, and swollen lymph nodes. You can prevent yourself from getting infected with Mpox by avoiding close contact with people who have been confirmed to have Mpox or who have signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding touching or sharing personal items like beddings, eating utensils, phones, or other belongings of a person who has the signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding contact, including eating, with all wild animals, alive or dead, especially those known to carry the virus, such as rodents and monkeys, and those that appear sick or have been found dead. Getting vaccinated if you're among those who have been identified to be at high risk of Mpox infection. Mpox is treatable and usually goes away after 2 to 4 weeks. However, it can be severe, causing even death, especially among children, pregnant women, and those with other health conditions. For more information and support, contact your nearest health worker. Call the Ministry of Health's toll-free line on 0800 100 066 or send a free SMS to YouReport on 8500.
amazina ganje inyetekwa Seruhanga John Bosco induga mu district ya Rukungiri byo muhanguzi wa miliyoni 16 na Uganda National Rotary nzahangwire kurwo mu kuzana star 278 hash ngafuna message eriko mu muhanguzi nashemererwa konka nabaza kugira ngo neri y'abafere sente ziriyo zone bakaziteka ko nazihangwira.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
amazina ganje inyetekwa Seruhanga John Bosco induga mu district ya Rukungiri byo muhanguzi wa miliyoni 16 na Uganda National Rotary nzahangwire kurwo mu kuzana star 278 hash ngafuna message eriko mu muhanguzi nashemererwa konka nabaza kugira ngo neri y'abafere sente ziriyo zone bakaziteka ko nazihangwira.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board. Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Multi Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
Honorable Fred Byamukama, Minister of State for Works and Transport in charge of transport, invites you to the launch of the 4-acre model campaign in the Greater Chibale District's Bunyoro sub-region. The event will take place at Chikwaya Primary School Playground, Kakumiro District on November 15, 2024, starting at 10 a.m. and will be graced by His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni. All residents, civil servants and the leaders from the districts that make up Greater Chibale, Kakumiro, Chibale, Kagadi, Chikube and neighboring areas are encouraged to attend in large numbers. This initiative, led by the President, aims to bring ordinary people into the money economy by showcasing farmers who have succeeded in the 1-acre model, 2-acre model, 3-acre model and 4-acre model. Join local leaders and residents in learning how small land can be used to enhance food security and socio-economic growth. Don't miss this opportunity to witness the transformative impact on local communities.
To be a winner, you must have the discipline of a tiger. But when fueled with MTN Momo, winning is easy. Simply get your phone and use the Momo app or dial *165*3#, enter merchant code, enter amount, enter your Momo PIN, and pay. Congratulations! Your car is happy, and now you stand a chance to win mobile money with MTN Momo. must have the discipline of a tiger. But when fueled with MTN Momo, winning is easy. Simply get your phone and use the Momo app or dial *165*3#, enter merchant code, enter amount, enter your Momo PIN, and pay. Congratulations! Your car is happy, and now you stand a chance to win mobile money with MTN Momo.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're still watching UBC News Tonight with me, Sharon Kyomugisha. Now, the Public Prosecutor of South Africa, Advocate Kaleka has called for a collective approach across borders in fighting corruption. Advocate Kaleka is in the country to celebrate the World Ombudsman Day slated for tomorrow, Wednesday, in Kampala, highlighted how East African nations, through united efforts, can confront deeply rooted challenges in governance. Kaleka made the remarks while meeting members of the Inspectorate of Government in Kampala.
The Public Prosecutor of South Africa, Advocate Kaleka's visit stands as an encouragement to Uganda to learn from South Africa's strides in public protection and to inspire the region's leaders to prioritize transparency in public institutions.
But I don't report to the President. I report to Parliament. But the only thing I report to Parliament to is about my strategic planning, is about my annual report. So I report to Parliament on my administrative functions, on how I spend the money that's given to me by the state. I do not report to Parliament about my cases. My cases are only reviewed by a court of law. So no member of Parliament, no member of the executive, I don't report to the executive at all. My relationship with ministers is on a peer level. The Public Protector is at a level of a Supreme Court judge.
Kaleka's address to Ugandan officials and East African anti-corruption advocates underscores a shared commitment to fortifying governance structures across borders.
The Public Protector is utmostly independent. But, you know, colleagues, there's one thing you must understand about independence. Independence is not just a book on paper, or pen on paper, rather. Independence is the human being. You must know that you've been entrusted with this responsibility, and there's global standards. There's constitutional standards, which is the supreme law of our countries. And as somebody who holds this authority and power, it is crucial for you to understand this.
The Inspector General of Government, Betty Kamya, emphasized that Uganda's mission extends beyond enforcement, aiming to build a sustainable culture of accountability.
And I say this as the current president of the East African Association of Anti-Corruption Agencies. Uganda holds the chair. The East African Anti-Corruption Agencies with 10 countries.
Well, Uganda as a nation will be celebrating the Ombudsman Day tomorrow on Wednesday in Kampala. But today with me in studio, I'm being joined for this discussion by Mrs. Kyomugisha, who is Uganda's Deputy Inspector General of Government, to shed more light on the significance of this day, insights into how Ombudsman services have impacted citizens' lives and fostered trust in the institution. A very good evening.
Good evening, Sharon.
Welcome to UBC TV.
Thank you so much.
Now, tomorrow you celebrate World Ombudsman Day, but I would like to know why it's very important for Uganda to celebrate and what it really represents.
Thank you, Sharon, and good evening once again to our viewers. Tomorrow is indeed one of those important days for us as a country to celebrate, to join the rest of the world to commemorate the International Ombudsman Day. It's celebrated every 10th day of October world over. But we had to stand over ours because we wanted to have the keynote speaker, who is the Public Protector of South Africa, Advocate Kaleka. It's important for us to have her here at such a time as this because we want to introduce the concept of sectoral ombuds. An ombudsman is a person that listens, mediates, is a link between the public and the government officials. An ombudsman is a person that deals with maladministration instances in the administration of public service. But also in our context as Uganda, the Inspectorate of Government has a unique mandate which is tripartite in nature. For the most part, people know about our anti-corruption role, but forget about the leadership code. Also the leadership code of conduct role is more pronounced. But certainly do we hear about the ombudsman role. So we're here to emphasize, to enlighten the public more about this role. That is also a constitutional mandate under Article 225, subsection 1A and B, to the effect that the Ombudsman ensures that there's strict adherence to the rule of law and principles of natural justice in administration, that systems are in place, processes are in place, and they're followed to the latter.
Would you say Uganda has followed them to the latter?
We try, we're doing our best. And of course there are systems that are really functional and there are those that are weak, but we try, we ensure that is what the law provides, and the implementation is another thing. So, but also to ensure that there's fair, effective and good governance in public offices, that if people have matters, they're treated fairly, there is judiciously, matters are handled judiciously. Also the Ombudsman investigates any act, omission, any recommendation, any advice that is given by a public officer in the course of public administration. We also ensure that we examine procedures and processes in institutions to look out for instances or look out for fertile ground for corrupt actions or acts. You asked what are some of the main complaints that we receive as the Ombudsman. They range from employment disputes, I have not been shortlisted, I think I qualify for this job, I have been asked for a bribe, and I've been asking to pay money to be shortlisted, I'm being victimized at work, I have not received my salary, I retired, it's a problem for me to receive my pension, I am supposed to get my national ID but I'm being asked for money, or I'm being told time and again, come back tomorrow, come back tomorrow. So those are some of the instances. They're not necessarily criminal in nature, but they make life very difficult for the everyday person. The ordinary citizen does not receive services that are intended by the government. So we come in to ensure that there is seamless service delivery in the country.
How many cases would you say you work on almost, for example, in 2024?
To give you a rough estimate, or to even be a bit more cagey about this, is that the Ombudsman role for the most part is subtle, because did I talk about solving conflicts? We solve conflicts within workplaces, we build relations, we mediate, we negotiate between warring parties. Sometimes we don't bring them to the fore. We don't talk about them publicly, but we create impact.
You're fighting.
So we say about over 100 cases are received on a daily, Ombudsman. I've not been paid. I went to this public office and I was attended to rudely. There's nobody who was willing to attend to me. I went at 2 p.m. They already closed offices. Those are matters that you may not necessarily quantify, but your action as an Ombudsman, your phone call, your intervention as the Ombudsman has created impact to the public. How about the conflicts we solve within institutions? Teams are not working together. I feel my supervisor is overbearing on me. My supervisor has refused to appraise me, or this is not a fair appraisal.
I feel like while companies have HR, Ombudsman is like an overseer legally?
Yeah, so an Ombudsman provides oversight. An Ombudsman is a constitutional body that is established by the Constitution to provide oversight in all these, the HR. So what happens if the HR is the one who is against you, or if it's the CEO,
the conflict is between.
Yeah, so now to talk about the day tomorrow that we're celebrating.
Yes,
We join the rest of the world, and this time the theme is Here to Hear. The Ombudsman is a listener, unlike an investigator that is investigating corruption cases. Their aim is to find evidence to prosecute a crime that has been committed. The Ombudsman is there to listen to you, is there to solve issues, is there to make life easy for you, is there to ensure that the citizenry has received government programs, PDM. Are you accessing the PDM? Are you being asked money to pay for the PDM? Are you being inconvenienced in any way to receive public service? And like the Inspectorate of Government has always emphasized, we are servants of the people. We're there to serve them. So tomorrow's theme is to emphasize this role of the Ombudsman. That the Ombudsman is there to hear you, to hear your complaints, and not just to hear them, but also to put action to them, to listen. Not just to hear, but listen and act. But what makes tomorrow special for us as Inspectorate of Government is that we're introducing the concept of sectoral ombuds. Sectoral ombuds play a crucial role in promoting accountability and transparency in institutions. How do they do that? They hope to address sector-specific concerns, complaints in particular sectors. So that's why we have invited, in South Africa, it's very pronounced. They have different sectors that, for instance, you have the health sector or the education sector or the military sector that handles specifically complaints or concerns in that institution. One, it helps to resolve issues, complaints timely, but also it helps to galvanize on the expertise of the technocrats in that institution. Say for having worked for the military, for me, I worked for the military, I don't think I understand the rank and file of the military, or that I have done military law, or that I'll understand everything about the military more than the person who has gone through the training and lives the day-to-day life about the military. So when we have these sectoral ombuds in these particular, in different sectors, we galvanize on their expertise, that's one, but also are able to reduce the time taken for us to resolve complaints. If somebody is seeking for their pension, or they have been victimized, and say it's in the Ministry of Health or the Ministry of Education, if you have a sectoral board, then they're able to handle it there and then, as opposed to coming to the Inspectorate of Government all the way from Bunyoro. You come this week, I'm busy with the Public Protector of South Africa, and I'm not able to see them. So mine today is to appeal to the public, to appeal to all our invited guests. Fortunately or unfortunately, if attendance is strictly by invitation, so to appeal to our stakeholders to ensure that they come and listen in tomorrow, appreciate, and let the discussion of sectoral
Just a quick
start.
one. You noted out South Africa. Why South Africa? Are they the ones that have the best practices we might adopt when it comes to ombuds? And you just talked about the secretariat.
That also, but also more so that we enjoy a very good relationship with the South African Republic, but also, and I think it's one of the best countries that have practiced, that has really built the sectors in terms of sectoral ombuds. We do have that in Uganda, but maybe we need to be more structured in addressing these internal grievances using sectoral ombudsmen.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Kyomugisha, Uganda's Deputy Inspector General of Government, who has been shedding more light on this, on the day which is slated to be celebrated tomorrow, on the insights of the Ombudsman services, the impact that it has had on citizen lives, and of course the trust that it has fostered in institutions. We appreciate. I hope you enjoy a lovely day tomorrow as you celebrate this day.
Thank you.
And maybe we'll catch it somewhere on social media and the talks that will go on after that. Now, moving on from that story, State Minister and non-state actors have raised concern over the increasing multidimensional child poverty that is affecting the well-being of children. Multidimensional child poverty is a state of deprivation from children across multiple dimensions, such as health, education, nutrition, and living conditions. Adiana Kuti reports.
Uganda Bureau of Statistics report 2024 on multidimensional child poverty shows that 44%, nearly half of children in Uganda, are suffering from multidimensional poverty, with rates reaching 57% for some households with 3 or more children. Multidimensional child poverty is a state of deprivation for children across multiple dimensions, such as health, education, nutrition, and living conditions.
Now, if you come to my area, the main effect of child poverty within us as children is parents not showing us an example of who they are and how they should groom us into the society, whereby my fellow girls are engaging into prostitution at a teenage age.
Because child poverty, one, the child is not going to school, right? So what is this going to lead? Either the child is going to start taking drugs, or because the child is not in school, the child does not know that, oh, when I take drugs, this is the effect. There is lack of education.
To this effect, a national coalition to end child poverty has been launched to advance the agenda of ending child poverty.
So such situation has a huge implication on the well-being of children and the safeguard of their rights. It has also the potential to negatively impact the economic growth and to jeopardize the realization of Uganda's vision to become a competitive upper middle income country by 2040. Or if we put it differently, today's children who are gradually transitioning into an already a dynamic labor force, over the next 15 years, hold the potential to transform Uganda's economy and remodel the socio-economic future of the nation if lifted out of poverty and given the opportunity to grow and develop up to their full potential.
The coalition will use a multi-sectoral approach to end child poverty that increases the vulnerability of children.
Your discussion should form part of a broader recommendation that will enable us as government to partner with you and find a way of ensuring we address the problem.
Uganda Bureau of Statistics report 2024 on multidimensional child poverty shows that the rates are high in districts located in poor sub-regions, with the highest in Acholi and Karamoja. Adia Nakote, UBC.
Thank you so much, Adia Nakuti, for the highlights. Bunyoro district leaders, together with the NRM chairpersons, have urged residents of the Bunyoro region to prioritize farming as a means of addressing poverty. The leaders made this call while touring the 4-acre model farm owned by State Minister for Works, Fred Byamukama, in Chikwaya, Kakomiro district. Details in this report.
Leaders from Bunyoro district toured Fred Byamukama's 4-acre farm, which serves as a model for the region. The visit was in preparation for President Museveni's upcoming visit on November 15th to launch the 4-acre model in Kakomiro, Chibale, Kagadi and Chikube districts.
We want to enroll the campaign of 4-acre model, those who have 1 acre, those who have 2 acre, those who have 3 acre, those who have 4 acre. To enroll in Bunyoro sub-region, but we shall start with the 4 districts, Kakumiro, Chibale, Kagadi and Chikube. Then we shall assess and see in the 5 years how is the performance. While we are doing this, we must get our people out of poverty, especially the voters we lead.
The RDC of Chikube, Amlan Tumusime, and the RDC of Chibale commended the minister's initiatives.
This is very good. What we have seen here is very good. We want to thank the President for this campaign of 4-acre model. You can see the Honorary Minister is leading by example, and I'm glad that the Minister has told us he also helps piglets to the neighborhoods so that they can also join the campaign to fight poverty through practicing what the President has all along been telling us.
Other RDCs also encouraged residents to use their available land for farming as a way to combat poverty.
It upon ourselves. Let's take ourselves out of poverty. Poverty is a very, very bad, project. It's a bad project if it's in your mind and you think that you'll just sit back and relax. But no one, the government is not going to come and uplift you from the poverty. It is you to change your mind, to love what you're doing.
so we don't spray our land. But you can see the type of matoka we have. And that's why the president is saying.
Stakeholders reviewing the national land policy in the West Nile region are calling for the empowerment of cultural leaders to handle land disputes. During the second day of the meeting, stakeholders raised concerns about land ownership and inheritance issues, which are fueling land conflicts that have led to loss of lives. Susan Naonga reports.
Consultations on the national land policy in West Nile region have entered the second day with a proposal to involve cultural leaders in resolving land disputes and addressing the issue of women's rights to land ownership.
Women particularly have been looked as a specific gender there, that their rights to land should not be denied. But now what I am looking at being embedded is the sense of inheritance in this policy.
Stakeholders also noted ongoing conflicts related to district boundaries and national borders in the West Nile, Lango and Acholi regions, calling for further amendments of the policies.
Don't politicize land tenure issues. That is the biggest challenge. And let the government, let the politicians have the political will to implement the reforms.
When you look at their land tenure systems, it is customary tenure, which is very predominant in this part of the country. And therefore we designed the policy issues around customary tenure, around transboundary resources, and also around climate change.
However, some of the recommendations in the draft national land policy have raised concerns, particularly regarding land taxation and government ownership of land.
So that a policy there which came, we say we don't want that one. No taxation of land, customary land.
In our constitution it's very clear that land belongs to the citizens of Uganda. Government is just an owner of land just like any other citizens. So there is no way we can have in a policy that says the authority of land vests in the government. It does not. It vests in the citizens. If government wants to own land, it can actually acquire land the way any other citizen can acquire land, or through compulsory acquisition.
The resident district commissioner of Lira City, Lilian Eyali, applauded the Minister of Lands for extending consultations to the communities, especially in light of the rising challenges regarding land.
To state that most of the policies in this country have failed because we are not consulted enough. That sometimes as grassroots, we are taken as implementers majorly.
The acting director of land administration at the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Naomi Kawanda, highlighted key issues that emerged from the discussions.
We heard the Acholis say that their boundaries are being infiltrated from one side by the West Nile districts and the other side by the Karamojong, while on the other end by the Langese. But by and large, you could see that we need to resolve the issue of our surveys, even for the borders.
Consultations on the revised national land policy will continue on Thursday in eastern Uganda. Susan Naonga reporting for ABC TV.
Now, stakeholders review, civil society organizations are concerned with the increasing cost of living that has pushed people to the wall of staking their pieces of land as collateral to money sharks, which they end up losing after failing to service the high interest rates pegged on premium. The executive director for Land and Equity Movement, Teresa Alma, says that as a result, people have resorted to renting out land cheaply while others have staked them for sale, a scenario she says threatens food security.
Land constitutes the most important natural resources for the country and a major dependable source of survival to the population for sustainability of their livelihood. However, civil society organizations are concerned about the rate at which people are losing land due to the need to have cash to meet their daily needs. Championed by the Land and Equity Movement in Uganda, LEMO, the civil society organizations have embarked on a nationwide campaign dubbed Keep Your Land, Keep Your Seed, to educate the population about the importance of land ownership.
Which is the core problems that we have found to be
problems that actually affects and reduces production of food and also threats to land rights. So in summary, the campaign is combining the need for protection of small-scale farmers' land rights and also protection of our local seed varieties. And in a summary, what we call food sovereignty.
Another issue of concern is the continuous loss of soil fertility that has in turn had a negative impact on food productivity.
And the real approach to that in a long-term way, not just short-term purchase of fertilizers, but the long-term solution has to do with the practices on the land. Some of them traditional practices that build fertility, such as crop rotation, so that you're rotating a heavy feeding crop like maize, which takes a lot of fertility out of the soil, with other crops like beans and legumes that put fertility back into the soil, or you're intercropping those kinds of crops.
Those who can afford the agricultural inputs have been frustrated by counterfeits.
According to the civil society, women and children are affected more when land is lost.
We further call upon the government of Uganda to strengthen the gender strategy of the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development for gender-responsive land-based development projects. We know that the Ministry of Land, representing the government, is doing a number of projects on development, but we need to see more gender-responsive projects implemented in Uganda.
The civil society also wants government to establish community seed banks to help in the preservation of indigenous seeds that play a crucial role in ensuring food security. Adia Nakote, UBC.
UBC News Tonight will take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more stories.
There is only one rule you must follow in order to be a winner. Number 1, defeat the undefeatable. You, step forward. I want you to box the air until it falls down. I'm not seeing it falling in. You see it falling in. Box, winning is hard, but with MTN Momo, it's easy. Simply pay or shop with Momo for a chance to win mobile money every day. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3#.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. I beg your pardon. You're still watching UBC News Tonight. And from the business desk, Uganda Breweries Limited has unveiled its 2024 annual sustainability report, emphasizing its unwavering commitment to inclusion, diversity, and economic empowerment.
Uganda stands central to its development journey, where the principles of equality, empowerment,
Maganjo Umeya Primary School, one of the largest public Islamic-based schools in Nasana Municipality, Wakiso District, is heavily impacted by the disruption, especially the candidates class, who require a calm environment to focus on their exams. Headmaster Mutiawa Musa has called for assistance to resolve the issue, emphasizing that students' well-being and academic needs should be prioritized.
They have interfered with our programs, like our children play, like yesterday they played they took their Juma from outside, and because the mosque was closed, and even some school programs interfered. The problem has disorganized the children who are going to sit, the candidates who are going to sit PLE.
One of the school's founders, Muhammad Insiko, further explained that the situation had to be escalated the district's Muslim leadership due to its severity.
We brought this place to the vote, we especially the Muslims. We decided to give the executive members from the mosque amount of money to develop that place so that our children they can play in a clean place.
Sheikh Elias Chigozi, the Wakiso district card, confirmed his involvement and noted that he had been authorized to mediate.
Founding body or the community of Maganjo, first and foremost, the failure to provide accountability for the last 5 years of that money they collect in masjid. Secondly, the money they collect from the school, UPE school, whereby they don't take any responsibility to the masjid, any renovation, they just collect money and use their money in any way. So the community raised up the concern to me that those people, they need them to provide accountability. For the 5 years, they have been collecting money from the school each term, 2.5 million.
Sheikh Chigozi urged the mosque's executive body to temporarily step aside to allow for a smooth investigation and warned against any actions that would disturb the students or nearby residency.
A case towards this imam called the so-called Kamanyire, and the security organ came in and we raised up the concern to the court. So any time around, we are waiting to get results from the judiciary. We call upon all the imams to mind about their tongues, their languages when they are talking. You should avoid, just know the Uganda has got laws and the laws are working.
Efforts, the mosque's executive and the imam for further comment have so far been unsuccessful. Robert Katamba and Jamiu Sekaja, UBC News.
Correction about that story. It is a story about Maganjo Umea Primary School in Nansana Municipality, Wakiso District, that had tensions flaring because primary 7 students couldn't sit their exams. Now we'll have more details later on in the 10 p.m. bulletin as well. But Uganda Breweries Limited, in more news, has unveiled its 2024 annual sustainability report, emphasizing its unwavering commitment to inclusion, diversity and economic empowerment. We have a detailed report on the story.
Uganda stands central to its development journey, where the principles of equality, empowerment and environment stewardship are significant to the country's progress.
As we move forward as a country, we will prioritize these that are in the cornerstone of your sustainability work, centering on inclusivity, diversity in workplace, and that is why the theme, I think, of today of this sustainability report is very important, and we will continue to work together with the private sector.
This year's report, themed Championing Inclusion and Diversity, highlights efforts to integrate values into both workforces and broader business practices.
We believe that creating a diverse and inclusive workplace is not just the right thing to do. It gives a strategic advantage by driving innovation, growth and resilience, where when everybody feels valued, respected and encouraged to share their perspectives, our team potential becomes limitless.
The report not only outlines the contributions of Uganda's economic development through programs that empower women and youth, it has also trained over 450 women and youth, equipping them with valuable skills for the hospitality industry.
We normally want to associate with programmers who look at diversity as a mix and then inclusion, making the mix work.
Even our own internal stakeholders, the employees, looking that we are coming up with such diverse and very good programs, it keeps them engaged, and the result is productivity.
Inclusion, diversity and economic empowerment reflect a clear path towards Uganda's economic development, where women, youth and people with disability are central to Uganda's progress.
The Private Sector Foundation has announced plans to host two significant events on December 5th and 6th, 2024, aimed at fostering youth mentorship and celebrating achievements within the private sector. Mark Wadulo-Arnold has more.
The Youth Mentorship event and gala, scheduled for December 5th and 6th, will focus on sustainable mentorship programs for young people and women in both urban and rural areas.
As the apex body of the private sector, our leadership, the board and management have taken it upon themselves to start a mentorship program for young people, both for those who are employed, the ones in informal, but also those in formal businesses.
With nearly 9 out of 10 workers in rural and urban areas relying on informal jobs, the Private Sector Foundation of Uganda recognizes the urgent need to equip youth with skills and opportunities to thrive in a competitive economy.
But what is very true about some of these young people is the fact that they have not been mentored in business, or in entrepreneurship, and trade and development allied services. So,
the annual Private Sector Gala on December 6th will serve as a platform to celebrate the successes of various Private Sector Foundation stakeholders.
The awards we are going to hold and give out at the gala is the 9th edition of the awards. These are awards that I've mentioned are celebrating the investments that are being made by the private sector companies, individuals that are making a very big difference in the lives of the communities.
By bringing together stakeholders from different sectors, Private Sector Foundation of Uganda aims to create a collaborative environment that empowers Uganda's youth and women, ultimately driving sustainable economic growth and development across the country.
Brought to you by download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. Wendy Wanaoli.
From the sports world, Uganda's national men's cricket team has held its final training sessions ahead of the ICC Cricket World Cup Challenge League B Round 1, which starts tomorrow at Lugogo. This competition, a qualifier for the 2027 Cricket World Cup, will be played in Uganda from November 6th to the 16th, 2024, with 6 teams competing in round-robin games for a spot at the top. Grace Kyomugisha reports.
The Cricket Cranes have been preparing for the ICC Cricket World Cup Challenge League B tournament since after their appearance at the T20 World Cup in June this year. The team will face 5 other teams in this first round and is confident about putting up a strong performance.
Way back when we came back from the World Cup, we knew our focus was going to change to the 50-over tournament, and ever since we have been practicing. We have had a couple of trial games. We have had a couple of trips outside Uganda to get used to the 50-over game again, because we last played it two years back. But from the preparations, yes, we have covered so many things that surely should help us sail through this tournament. So we are ready. The boys are well prepared, and we are ready to go out there and just give it 110%.
All three aspects like fielding, batting, bowling, all three are nicely covered, and we are really looking forward for the good control on the game.
Riazat Ali Shah will captain the team, replacing Brian Masaba, who resigned from the role after the T20 World Cup.
First major tournament captaining. To be honest, I'm a bit nervous and excited. I feel like both are important things to focus and work for the team. And like my job is a bit easier because all the players know their roles and they know what they have to do in the game. We are good to go tomorrow, and we really wanted to win our first game, and it will give us some momentum and confidence towards going towards the tournament.
Singapore, Uganda's first opponents in the opening game, are also in high spirits and ready to give their best.
Very much looking forward to this game against Uganda. Some of our players have played against Uganda before, so they're familiar with some of the opposition. Others of our players, it's their first time playing for Singapore, so they'll have to just learn a little bit on the job with us. But we're prepared for the match, and we're looking forward to a very close encounter.
The ICC Cricket World Cup Challenge League B serves as a pathway to the 2027 Cricket World Cup and ODI status. Round 1 of the league will be played between November 6th and 16th, 2024 here in Uganda at the Lugogo and Entebbe Ovals. The teams participating in this league are Tanzania, Singapore, Hong Kong, Bahrain, Italy, and hosts Uganda. Uganda will kick off her campaign against Singapore tomorrow, 6th November, at the Entebbe Lakeside Oval, starting at 10 a.m. Grace Joyce Kyomugisha, UBC News.
That's all we had for you for now. You can join me again later on at 10 p.m. for more news coming your way. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha with Nakakoni Elizabeth on Sign Language.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Paint and win. This year, Blascon Paint and win. The Kuku Roundy. Chicho, buy paint worth 100K. Get a scratch card. SMS the code 27197. Stand a chance to win instant airtime, 1 million shillings bully day there, or a share of a 3 million shillings jackpot each week. What do you want the brand new bodas, tuk-tuks, and so much more? Catch the paint and win action every Monday on Bukede One, NBS, and Sanyuka TV. Blascon, color your world.
In the heart of Uganda, a financial revolution is happening. We were once left out, saving the old-fashioned way, with an unexpected saving spot, keeping it too close for comfort. But now, we found a better way to save and manage money. Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. With Wendy, your money is safe and you can earn interest daily. Visit your Google Play or App Store or dial *229# to register. Wendy Wanawoli.
The East Africa UK Tourism and Cultural Expo 2024 is here, happening on 8th and 9th of November 2024 under the theme Enhancing Tourism as Engine for Social and Economic Transformation on the sidelines of WTM London at the Rembrandt Hotel, 11th Thalo, PI South Kensington, London, SW7 2RS, United Kingdom. The guest of honor will be the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga. For tickets, exhibitors will pay £1,000 and participants will pay £300. For more information, call +256 787 096 100 or +254 795 806 969. Visit www.eauktourismexpo.com to register.
The Ministry of Health informs the general public that there are some cases of Mpox detected in Uganda.
The ministry, working with partners and affected district local governments, are doing their best to contain the situation. The signs and symptoms of Mpox are body rash, fever, general body weakness, headache, sore throat, nasal congestion or cough, and swollen lymph nodes. You can prevent yourself from getting infected with Mpox by avoiding close contact with people who have been confirmed to have Mpox or who have signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding touching or sharing personal items like beddings, eating utensils, phones, or other belongings of a person who has the signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding contact, including eating, with all wild animals, alive or dead, especially those known to carry the virus, such as rodents and monkeys, and those that appear sick or have been found dead. Getting vaccinated if you're among those who have been identified to be at high risk of Mpox infection. Mpox is treatable and usually goes away after 2 to 4 weeks. However, it can be severe, causing even death, especially among children, pregnant women, and those with other health conditions. For more information and support, contact your nearest health worker. Call the Ministry of Health's toll-free line on 0800 100 066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500.
Amazina ganje Nyetekwa Seruhanga John Bosco Ninduga mu district ya Rukungiri byo muhanguzi wa miliyoni 18 na Uganda National Rotary nzahangwire urwo mu kuzana star 278 hash ngafuna message eriko mu muhanguzi nashemererwa konka nabaza kugira ngo nebiya bafere sente ziriyo zona bakaziteka ngo nazihangwire.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
In the crisis-affected regions of Uganda, education is not just about academics. It is about equipping young girls with the skills and confidence they need to navigate life's challenges and create a brighter future for themselves and their communities.
Meet again, next time we shall meet again, we are going for holidays.
Through the Agency project, life skills clubs have been established in schools across Moyo and Obongi districts.
Today we are going to talk about menstruations. That is what we are going to talk about. And I know it is not something new to you, especially for the girls.
These clubs offer a safe space for adolescent girls and boys to learn essential life skills, skills that are often overlooked in traditional education.
I was stubborn. I could not stay at home. I could go into joining some bad peer groups that misled me. You know, I became arrogant. I could not respect. I rarely come to school. There was also that mentality in me that education cannot help. With my bad peer groups, I could just go for one disco, for disco after disco. Our madam, the current facilitator, looked at the status of which the challenge I'm going through. She had to come in for intervention, call me, and they advised me to join this club. At first I rejected because teachers were also my enemies. Because I rarely attend classes. We have our forest behind the school. So that is why I usually chill.
We have come up with the reusable pads, so it is made like this. You first measure, you come with the measurement, then you cut from there, and then you sew it.
We used to stay with our uncle. That was before my dad married my stepmom. Now when he married, he brought us. We were staying in central Uganda. He brought us to stay with our stepmom in South Sudan. We stayed there for a year, then we came here. Sometimes these things, due to stress, I find it hard to control emotions. Once I'm stressed, I can't attend the lessons. I will ever be absent in class. Now, when my madam kept observing these things, she told me that there is this agency project, things like life skills, psychosocial support.
So I expect the presenter from Group 1 to present for us their findings, and then we shall switch to Group 2.
I am timing.
I learned how to make reusable sanitary pads. Even right now I can make them. And then I also learned problem-solving skills. Like they told us to know yourself, we should know ourselves. Even if somebody insults you, do not take action because you know yourself. And then they taught us even menstrual hygiene management.
Because those days I could not really put much emphasis on myself to like things to deal with the personal hygiene. I started like giving for myself enough time to keep my body safe, like shaving the hair, bathing at least twice a day.
The impact of the Life Skills Club extends beyond the classroom. These young girls are taking what they've learned and applying it in their daily lives, becoming role models for their peers and their communities.
I have gained confidence and the courage through this life skill and psychosocial support. That helped me to campaign, and I went through. I became the debate prefect, menstruation hygiene. I learned a lot because, you know, by then I thought if a girl is menstruating, that is a curse, maybe from God or from clan elders. They just told me these are normal things. We used to discuss them even.
Before it came in, bullying was really too much in this particular school. I have really felt it. I suffered it. I suffered people creating toxic environment for us girls, and even in the learning environment, there are certain points where you cannot reach as a girl. But now, at least they have involved boys in it also. The boys that have learned how to respect girls, at least are also touching other boys, teaching them how to respect girls. Now we have at least a conducive learning environment.
Through the agency project's Life Skills Clubs, these girls are not just learning, they are transforming. They are the future leaders, the change makers, the ones who will shape the world to come.
Most of the top positions in the schools are always taken up by boys. Even in the clubs, they want boys to be at least the president, then maybe assisted by a girl. But because life skills has come, and then they've even trained our teachers that no, girls can do these things, give them a chance. That's why I came up to be the president, and it has helped me because right now I am confident. I can stand in front of a very big number of people and talk.
My dream is to become a lawyer. And these are some of the ways I can use the skills I gained from here to transform other people's life. Like you bring in debate, you bring in motion that people can argue in order to find the truth about something.
State a reason of not encouraging inbreeding in goat keeping.
One of the biggest problems that we faced was children were lagging behind. Teachers were using very bad language to speak to these children. So we came out with 3 powerful modules. One is the gender responsive pedagogy module. The second is the value-based education module. The third one is the inclusive classroom module. Right now, if you go to a school, a teacher is able to speak a gender-responsive language.
We used to use a bad language to our learners. Like we see the size of the learners in the class, and you say, because this one is a tall and a big in P4, you can say, you are even very big to be in this class, you are Mama P3, you are Baba P4. So I realized those languages completely demoralize the learners' interest in learning.
When it comes to life skills, the government of Uganda has adopted this,
and it will be implemented starting next year across all of Uganda.
We also do another component directly, that is the mentorship program, where we connect female learners of refugee nationality to mentors in the diaspora that have lived experiences of the refugee setting and have gone to Canada but have been able to make their lives better. So these provide inspiration to these girls to be able to continue with school but also continue pursuing their education aspirations.
During e-mentorship, we have learned a lot. We also had certain topics, how to succeed as a girl in the community. Among the topics, I've also learned how to say no to bad peer pressure. Once I've completed my studies, I want to become a journalist. At the same time, I wanted to be a mentor.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
For Virtuoso Wu Man, the piece she's about to rehearse, Concerto for Pipa with String Orchestra, is something special. This modernist piece was written especially for her by American composer Lou Harrison more than 20 years ago. Harrison believed that there was only one person around with the skills to perform it at that time. For the first time, the pipa was to be the lead instrument in a Western symphony. Back then, the international music scene only had very vague notions regarding this Chinese musical instrument.
I think 那个时候写的音乐也是比较现代的，并没有突出琵琶的语言，琵琶本身很重要的一种语言特点，比如我们讲韵味这些东西还是没有，追求的还是这种音色上的刺激啊，音色上的变化。东方的音乐，东方的乐器，会相对来说更抽象一点。比如我们经常会说留白、柔弦、衬弦，其实此时无声胜有声。 《春江花月》是我最喜欢的曲子之一，对我来说，这个曲子特别清新，像龙井茶一样。我会仔细的听，我会仔细的品那个味道，但这种，我觉得这种就是根深蒂固在血液里面。
A moonlit night on the Spring River is highly praised today. Some regard it as the jewel in a crown among traditional Chinese music. But it's actually a relatively new piece with a history of less than 100 years. Much better known was the poem by the same title, written by Tang Dynasty poet Zhang Ruoxu. The beautiful spring river scene depicted in the poem was situated in today's Yangzhou. Yangzhou was called Guanglin or Jiangdu in ancient times. Not far from here was where the Yangtze River meets the Grand Canal. Although the scenes immortalized in a poem are no longer to be found in Yangzhou today, it's still possible to get a feel of the city as it was then, prosperous and teeming with merchants. People nowadays might just assume that the music and lyrics of A Moonlit Night on the Spring River came into being together. In fact, a dance performance based on a poem was once a cultural calling card of Yangzhou. With the melody, the moon-shrouded scene in a poem is created using contemporary techniques and modern art. It also tells the story of the poet, a Yangzhou native who lived more than 1,000 years ago. But both Zhang Ruoxu and his poem, A Moonlit Night on the Spring River, were subject to the vicissitudes of fate. For centuries, both languished in obscurity and were nearly totally lost and buried in time. The poem has 36 lines. While presenting a vivid image of early Tang Dynasty society full of vigor, it can also be read as a reflection on certain deep and abiding philosophical themes. The theme of Wu Man's performance in Philadelphia is migration. This is a series of concerts featuring plucked instruments from the Silk Road. Through Wu Man's performance, the concerts attempt to demonstrate the close relationship between the international nature of pipa and cultural migration. This is Wu Man's 30th year in the United States. She says migrating to another country has shaped her into the person she is. Before going abroad, Wu Man had already won many awards and was highly regarded in the domestic folk music community.
刚一开始去美国绝对有挫折感，一开始的独奏会我不敢弹春江花月夜的，刚头几年，因为没有人认识这个乐器，着急啊。 没有人了解这个乐器，我说这么好乐器，你们赶紧听我的，那种着急，一种低落的情绪，有的。
The initial turnaround occurred in 1992. That year, Wu Man began to rethink her position. She realized that just like herself, to find a bigger stage for pipa, it would first learn to speak a language that the world could understand.
拓开事业领域转折点，第一个就是跟昆罗斯弦乐四重奏团，这么古典的一个弦乐四重奏这种形式，居然他去演非洲的音乐，居然他去演韩国人写的音乐，他去演这个墨西哥的音乐，然后还要跟我来合作，用琵琶加进去。这个时候我一下子我就为什么我不可以啊？ 我也可以去跟各种各样的艺术家、音乐家，包括戏剧导演、画家、舞蹈，我都合作在舞台上，电子、爵士我都玩过，真的把我这个思路一下子就给打开了。那个时候觉得放下心态，完全就从零开始。
Ran Hong teaches music in the School of Humanity at Shanghai University of Finance and Economics.
熟悉吧？熟悉的，只是不知道什么区别。第9首是个民族管弦乐作品《春江花月夜》，好多同学还是写对的啊。有同学写茉莉花不对，有的同学还给我写了个庄若虚啊。 对呀、很好呀、这个是的作者，我们要求他写音乐的作者，很好。
The university is primarily known for its financial management majors, but Ranhong has successfully brought traditional folk music to its campus. The student orchestra, where she serves as the artistic director, has won first prize in many national university art competitions.
我们今天是最后一次大合排。好，我们先排。
好，再来一次啊。
Ranhong majored in a musical instrument called yang qin, but she plays many roles in music. A particularly important one is inheritor of Jiangnan Sizhu, or string and wind musical instruments, which is a national intangible cultural heritage item in Shanghai. The Jiangnan Sizhu societies are generally grassroots groups. Ranhong often participates in them at weekends. Today they want to practice playing the famous Jiangnan Sizhu piece, A Moonlit Night on the Xunyang River, created by the earliest members of this society about 90 years ago.
搿搭头伊跟村庄有点勿一样，伊当中加了眼，伊侬看伊是搿能介 ready。
Similar as they may sound, A Moonlit Night on the Xunyang River and A Moonlit Night on the Spring River are different pieces conveying different emotions. The title of A Moonlit Night on the Xunyang River was derived from the poem Song of a Pipa Player by Tang Dynasty poet Bai Ju-yi. It depicts a night on the river in autumn, not spring. The prosperous scenes in the poem A Moonlit Night on the Spring River happened at Guazhou Anshan Ferry outside Yangzhou. Due to changes in waterways, the ferry fell into disuse long ago. Time flows. The fate of the originally unknown poem changed dramatically hundreds of years later.
明代之后，就不断的有人对春江花月夜进行评价。湖南那个岳麓书院的王凯运，他说：“孤篇横绝，尽成大家。”所以这个孤篇盖全唐之说，就从这句话而来。
So it was, a poem that languished in obscurity came into the spotlight. But was the musical piece, A Moonlit Night on the Spring River, composed 100 years ago, based on the poem? Or maybe it's just people's wish to associate the most pleasing music with the most beautiful words, not caring whether it's a fresh 100-year-old piece or an ancient 1,000-year-old classic. Today's Xi'an was the capital during the Tang Dynasty. The first Silk Road Music Festival is about to be held at the Xi'an Conservatory of Music, and Wu Man is to be the main performer. This is a world-renowned music festival originally initiated by cellist Yo-Yo Ma. Wu Man has worked with most parties to the festival for years, so she knows their music very well and knows how to perform together.
马友友先生的丝绸之路，那个乐团就是2000年嘛开始，那是人物中亚的呀、蒙古的呀，很多很多音乐家，就是一个混合的乐队，像一个大的实验室一样。我们是一个行走的实验室，像《纽约时报》啊那样的大乐评就不知道怎么评论我的演奏。 经常会只是描述一下穿着旗袍啊，怎么，他们用那个 pretty 那个词儿，啊，一个亚洲音乐家很漂亮，弹的那个琴叫琵琶，是个中国的乐器，他没有任何的谈我的音乐，只谈我的外表。
But encounters with world music gradually transformed Wu Man into an ambassador for Chinese music, and in particular, a spokesperson for pipa on the international stage. Since her performance with the Silk Road Ensemble, she's been nominated for many prizes, including the Grammy Awards.
你看她长得像中亚人那个脸。
哎，对。你看这些乐器，咱们一看都已经非常清晰，能分辨出它是什么乐器，是吧？因为那会儿在唐朝的时候，这个音乐文化的大融合，是，所以包含了很多国外就是西域来的这些乐器。
鼎盛时期。
鼎盛时期。
Wu Man wants to give the audience a sense of the Tang Dynasty golden age, a time of unprecedented development in music, the epoch that Zhang Ruoxu had foretold in his poem.
比如说，我现在弹《春江花月夜》这个曲子，和我20年前弹绝对是不一样的。不是说我当当当当当当当就死掉了，当当当当当，要让听的人等着我下一句是什么。这个就是音乐。 我跟卡农的演奏家说：“我说你不调5声音阶，他也可以完全的就用5声音阶来演奏。”意大利那个鼓一下进来，哦，味道又变了。 很现代了，嘣可以跳起来，但是我这边还是传统的东西在那边。这个在国外好受欢迎哦，这个曲子啊，在欧洲演出时观众疯了，很多人就说这是最好的一个曲子。
Pipa originally incorporated the music genes of many peoples around the world. It came from distant exotic lands, fused with many similar instruments, and shone brightly in a Tang dynasty. We can see in a Tang pipa traces of its localization process in China. A famous line from the poem Song of a Pipa Player inadvertently tells us pipa's process of evolution. Light plucking, slow twiddling, and loud twanging contains the fingerings that are perhaps unique to the pipa after its localization. A central sweep puts an end to the music, refers to a distinctive plucking technique from the Western regions. Wu Man believes this might be one of the reasons why the pipa is seen as an instrument that bridges the East and the West in today's international music scene.
This is very valuable. 就像我们现在称为一个琵琶，它是对一个地域的概称。里面有这个吗？
A series of musical events called Centennial Da Tong is taking place at the Shanghai Conservatory of Music, commemorating the pioneers who revived traditional Chinese music 100 years ago. They were the ones who successfully adapted A Moonlit Night on the Spring River into an ensemble piece, and that was how the group called Da Tong Music Society became famous. This is the first official gathering that brings together descendants of the society and music experts to discuss the society's legacy.
这个春江这个之前的曲目都是独奏的形式，而后在大同乐会是以丝竹的形式重新出现，而后才让社会了解到这个曲目。
因此我在大同学会生活了16年。
The contemporary success and fame of the piece has now become an opportunity for everyone to get together. Inspired by Datong Music Society's creativity, numerous Sizhu orchestras in Shanghai follow suit, creating their own musical arrangements by the same or different names.
我们这一类的音乐是属于就像西方的我们叫 folk music，jazz 就是属于 folk music 一类，所以很多人就把江南丝竹跟 jazz 相比较，它是其实有雷同的，有雷同，它就是即兴加花呀。所以同学们现在你是看着谱子走，但是你到一定程度你就要把谱子扔掉，好吧？我们先走一遍谱子再说啊。
The most distinctive feature of Jiangnan Sizhu music is heterophony. The ensemble does have a score, but instead of playing in unison, each musician plays his or her instrument in a flexible way, complementing each other with improvisation. These characteristics require every member to know the piece of music intimately.
好，我们还比较粗啊，还是要各自多听。然后就最后快板的地方要反复。快板要反复，哎，快板要，因为它本身就很快。
With the success of A Moonlit Night on the Spring River, Datong Music Society began to plan for an expansion from a small ensemble of about 10 members to a large orchestra of 40 members. The aim is to break away from the limitations imposed by the small scale of Jiangnan Sizhu to produce more inclusive and impactful music. In 1928, Zheng Jingwen invited the best 10 ensembles in Shanghai to join him in reforming Sizhu music. But due to the improvised and flexible nature of Sizhu music, the plan to forge them into a team and get them onto the bigger stage didn't work out.
就是那个1933年4月9号全体合演，33个人。我们今天民族音乐的发展，应该说，它那个是从它那儿开始起步吧。1929年组建大乐队，它是要求以爱这个标准音作为我们民族乐队或民族乐器的一个标准音，那是20年代。 那应该说很先进了。
Datong Music Society required that everyone had to play the score just like a Western symphony orchestra, and that every note had to be standardized. So it was that China's first folk orchestra took shape.
有学生想上来试一试这个乐器，赶紧的，机会难得，碰一下这个。
In historical times, the Silk Road brought cultural exchange and integration, often creating new musical genres and inspired changes in the traditional music of various peoples. For members of Datong Music Society, their musical orientation has always been clear. They want to introduce authentic Chinese music to the world. In October 1938, Wei Chongle, a member of the society, joined a Chinese cultural troupe to perform in the US to raise funds for the fight against Japanese aggression.
这个不用了。这个就在美国的那个电视台里演出的一张奖状，39年的呢，那个写的。 这是在纽约的一个报道，这是翻译。这些是美国的，就是他录的4张唱片交互版的， 就变成一张密文的唱片。据说现在还在发行。凡是美国研究中国音乐的，这个套唱片是必备的，他们都少不了这张唱片。也就是说，通过它，他可以了解中国音乐。
After the release of A Moonlit Night on the Spring River, Wei Chongle, who served as the lead pipa player, rose to fame.
他是我音乐方面的唯一的偶像，不是我夸我的父亲。他的音乐呢，不仅仅是在这个春江花月里面，就在其他的所有乐器里面，吹的、拉的、弹的，二胡、琵琶，笛、箫、古琴。所以呢，他这几个乐器呢，都是贯通了。
我们中国，我认为最早的一首世界名曲应该是《春江花月夜》。我想不会有人否认这一点。魏先生就是从大同乐以后才立起来的。
But Wei Chongle lived through turbulent times as he strove to introduce Chinese music to the world. His pipa solo, A Moonlit Night on the Spring River, and various instrumental performances were warmly received in the United States. Critics even compared his attainments with those of the famous violinist Fritz Kreisler, while for others, he became almost a byword for Chinese folk music. But regardless of all the appreciation he received, when Wei applied to study Western music in the United States, he was not accepted. The reason cited was the difference between Chinese and Western music theories.
这个是40年，今年底了，也差不多回来了，他就开了一场演唱会，因为他说我这是唯一的这个一个机会，不成功没办法了，那就是正在美国待了一些的时间呢，那么41年不得不再回来，他维持这个呢，时间很大。
Ran Hong herself once oscillated between accepting changes and persisting in the old ways. Some of the popular pieces in the past have become obsolete, and not every so-called traditional piece is fortunate enough to have survived the test of time and become a classic. But she has always been meticulous about furthering the artistic style inherited from her teacher.
我的字眼几乎是跟先生一模一样。有一段时间我是学着，我是故意的，我不要用他的字眼，我想听听别人更好的字眼。有段时间我做了很多这样的事情，但是总体的还是像，风格还是像。
这个节奏型，流行歌里面很常用。
我去把谱子给他们。
Recently, the folk orchestra of Shanghai University of Finance and Economics has been making a bold adaptation of A Moonlit Night on the Spring River. But they didn't invite their teacher Ran Hong to the rehearsals.
江南丝竹做大齐奏的人太多了，我们是弄不过那些老作曲家的。古筝在这里我全都是做伴奏用，应该都是你看都是刮和弦。
他为什么没有放那个低音提琴和那个贝旦？
Now the full score of the adapted version has been completed, and it's time for the orchestra to invite Ran Hong for advice and guidance.
古典和现代比较结合的那种感觉。
第二段有好多的改变。对。
主要我是用的原创，然后加的一些比较现代化的和弦，就比如说 sus4 之类的那些和弦。
因为文曲确实是比较难的，因为它很多东西就是好多旋律都相似，而且它很淡，重复的旋律。因为中国音乐它就讲求简单，简单里面的一种曲折，新创作的还是比较困难的，我觉得还是蛮有难度的。